And here we go. This is going to be map of the month number 8, Artifice. You can search MOTM on Blizzard, on whatever the search bar thing, and you'll find it. This is a very cool looking map, and of course it's going to be Flow Gaming's Katu versus SDS NV PkM, and of course you're going to be seeing the little overlay, see exactly which players do remain as of this point. This is going to be game number 7, and over here in the top left-hand corner we have Flow Gaming's Katu going to be spawning as the purple Zerg player. He's going to be playing against PkM, a Terran player. Yes, I get to see a Terran player. I usually don't say that because we see so many Terran players, but so far it's just been Protoss players and Zerg players out of both teams. So we'll see how well the Terran player does handle this map. It's got a very wide and nice open center, but these bases are pretty well choked off. Very nice easy choke here for Protoss and Terran players to seal off. There's a third base over here with just one geyser. He can even expand over here towards his opponent if he so desires. Not a smart choice, but if he so desires, or if he's so ahead that he just wants to do it, of course. And of course our Zerg player has plenty of expansions on this map. It's so great for Zerg players, easily be able to take, I don't know, 7 bases if their opponent decides to macro against them. And this is, I think, a great map for Zerg players. Of course, it's almost just as large as any of those GSL maps. Think Tal'Darim Altar. This is almost as big as Terminus. I think Terminus is probably slightly larger, but I feel like this map is almost as large as Terminus. But of course, I might be wrong. So I'm going to check that later on, possibly talk about that in a later game. I'll find out if I'm an idiot or not. And there's the barracks coming up for NV PkM. He's going to be against a Zerg player that's gone hatch first. Great build on this map since it's so big. The drone is going to be checking out everything that's going on and stealing a gas. And we're going to pause for just a second. Possibly something wrong with sound, keyboard, mouse, lag. Yeah, lag. So something like that. So we'll see him probably trying to solve that in the near future. Maybe it's the spectators, but I'm not sure. The spectator list is absolutely full, so... Alright, this is the American Pro League Pokemon style King of the Hill. I have no idea what he's saying. Maybe that's from a song. I don't listen to that much music, so I have no idea what that is. Alright, so the game has resumed. The gas has been stolen, and the chat has ceased. Of course, the spectator chat has been going crazy. Some of the spectators earlier were glad that I was not actually recording their spectator chat, since they didn't know I was actually recording this match. And there's the spawning pool on the way. He's going to be opening with some speedlings after his hatch first. Going to make sure he can control all of these Xel'Naga towers. They're actually buried in the ground. They look very similar to the ones on Belshire Beach, the one that we were just on a few seconds ago. The two Marines here trying to clean up this extractor. Going to be exploding in a pool of blood shortly. It's going to be a reactor Hellion opening. Try to burn off a couple of drones and secure map control, as there are so many Xel'Naga towers here on this map. Katu is going to be scooting his Overlord all the way to the right side. It's going to take such a long time that he'll probably have a lair before that Overlord actually gets anywhere. And there's the expansion coming up for PkM, going to be taking advantage of the large size of this map, and going to be swapping the factory over to that reactor. Factory is going to swap onto there, and the barracks will re-land. 2 Hellions will be on the way. There they are. natural expansion is about halfway complete. That Overlord is only a third of the way across the map, and it's been a whole minute. Two spine crawlers on the way for Katu, gonna make sure that he's able to kill off any Hellions and try to run by. Of course, there are these rocks as well. As the creep spreads up to this point, the two spine crawlers can be placed right there to prevent any Hellion run-bys, and there's the first two Hellions gonna be moving out. We also have the Stimpack research being started. He's gonna be going up to some additional barracks shortly to be able to hold his natural expansion, and there are the two Hellions making their way into the main. They will see everything that Katu is up to. Looks like a couple of drones getting pulled off the line to fight against those Hellions. Always not good to have drones fighting against Hellions, even some lost mining time. Already the Hellions continue to try to roast away all of those drones. Looks like the drones will be able to surround, but the Hellions, if they just turn around and shoot once, there's one drone going down. All of those drones are so low health, he just needs to get back over there, and two more shots will do it. And there's that first shot, and there's another shot, not lining them up. There's the lineup, three more drones falling there. The Hellion is still alive. 14 Zerglings being produced right now. Another drone is being roasted, and another drone does fall. So far, I think 6 or 7 drones have been killed. Let's take a look. 7 drones have been killed by those two Hellions so far. Very cost-effective harassment there from PkM. He's going to be able to secure his natural expansion real soon. He's even got Sea Shanks on the way. Going to be swapping the factory back, leaving a little bit of a gap at the front, but that's okay. He will be able to throw down a barracks over there shortly. Bunker and supply depots coming up over here. Looks like a Mickey Mouse is on the way for PkM, and it looks like a couple of Zerglings running in here. All of the Terran units get caught out of position. There's only 2 Hellions remaining, and there's not much going here for PkM. The front is wide open. A Sea Shank does pop out. He's going to need to mass repair that guy over there if he wants to stay alive. Looks like the SCV is getting pulled off the line, and the Sea Shank is getting really low. It's going to not fall. The SCV is getting in there to be able to repair as quickly as possible. Going to be able to save that Sea Shank. Siege Tech is about to finish, and the Stimpack upgrade just finished as well. The natural expansion does re-land a macro hatch on the way for Katu against a Protoss player. You'd want to put this at your natural expansion. These endless force fields will prevent reinforcements from streaming down there. Just a little tip for Zerg players who are having trouble with Protoss. There's a creep tumor going to be spreading forward towards the Terran base, and a barracks is going to be swapping onto that reactor. Sea Shank on the high ground will guard this entire area. Very nice defense coming out of NV PkM. As Whiteraw always says, we make base and defense it. And there's the nice supply depot wall. Nothing in the bunkers as of yet, but plenty of Marines are pouring out to gas being taken at the natural expansion for PkM. The lair is complete, and a spire is on the way somewhere. There it is, spire in the corner over here. It's always a tiny little bubble. Looking for it when it's not like almost complete is very, very difficult. But of course, once you see it, you know it's a spire, because it takes forever to build and is about the size of a spine crawler. And Uology is slowing down the game, but that's okay. I don't need to know that. Reactor coming up for PkM. It's gonna looks like Uology has left the game. He has got plenty of tanks over here. PkM does, of course. Plenty of tanks out on the field. Zerglings now spawning, and the spire is about to finish, and there it is. That actually looks a little bit more like a spire. It should probably bubble up in just a second and explode into a full-size spire. We also have the Zergling upgrades on the way. Katu is banking a lot of gas right now. He will be able to start 5 to 6 mutas right away. There are 5 mutas in the production queue, as well as a +1 air weapons for himself. It looks like PkM is going to be looking to move out just as those mutas are being created. The wall does lower, and he will be headed out across the field, and this may catch Katu off guard. He does have plenty of Zerglings out, but if those Sea Shanks get into a nice position, it's going to be trouble for our Zerg player. Now going to be advancing towards that creep. Going to be using this nice little ledge over here to siege up. All the tanks going to be sieging up in this position, and the Marines will be able to scoot forward, scan, and allow the picking off of that creep. The mutas are out on the field right now. Ton of Zerglings being created. A little Marine strike force now up at the front, and the Zerglings advancing forward. The Stimpak going down on those Marines will be able to retreat. Scan going down will be able to clean up a couple of those creep tumors and run in here and possibly engage these Zerglings soon. A ton more Zerglings and mutas are now on the way. Looks like the Zerglings and mutas going to be picking off those destructible rocks to give a bigger opening, and PkM is actually going to go ahead and retreat for the moment. I guess this map isn't as large as Terminus. That was a pretty short walking distance. I guess it must be the shape. There's a pretty easy walk to your opponent's base, especially if spawning in close ground or quote close ground-ish positions. But here's Katu going to be advancing forward with a ton of units here. Let's take a look at the units tab. Units tab. If I could just hit it properly. Units tab. And it looks like the advance forward into a bunch of siege tanks is not going to be good enough for Katu, and all the mutas going to be forced back, and PkM is left with a huge advantage after that engagement. I'm not sure what Katu was actually thinking over there. All of his Zerglings and Banelings just splattered onto all of those Sea Shanks, and PkM did a very nice job of actually spreading those Marines out, stimming them, and being able to kill off all of those Banelings, and it is in favor of PkM right now. He does have his third base up and running. He's got more SCVs out in the field, and these, by the way, are holograms. You can walk straight through them. It's not like a little thing that kills your units if they run through. Sea Shanks will be sieging up in the center to give nice spotting. And the third base on the way for Katu. He's not expanding towards his Terran opponent, as that would be not very smart. Anyways, missile turrets now coming up, as well as the +1 ground weapons for the Marines, and the +1 armor vehicle weapons level 1 coming up as well. Katu rebuilding his Zergling force. Wow, it's snowing really hard outside. As a single Marine does get caught out of position and killed off pretty easily, Katu is going to be swinging to the bottom side and up towards the space over here. He does clean up the guy at the Xel'Naga watchtower. Unfortunate day for him. Sieging up the tanks over here, PkM is going to be able to defend the space pretty easily. There are not too many Banelings in this mix right now, or should I say 0 Banelings in this mix right now. PkM is continuing to macro here. His main is running a little bit dry, so he may be seeking to take a 4th base real soon, and we are up to the 16-minute mark. Single Marine stimming forward to see exactly what's going on. So many Banelings being morphed by Katu right now. He just needs to make sure that he gets those connects on those Banelings when he does this engagement. Maybe trying to hit the tanks with the mutas as well, but the Marines do have a very nice spread. There are missile turrets in the backside as well, and the Zerglings and Banelings might be swinging around to the other side to hit the main, and that could do a lot of damage. PkM up at 171 food, and the Baneling Zerglings rolling in from the backside. Stim going down. Very nice spreading by PkM, and all of the Sea Shanks able to target down all of those Banelings, and Katu saying blah. And this game goes to PkM, and Katu has been knocked out of Flow Gaming's roster, I guess, and PkM taking yet another game for Convergence Gaming. The only player remaining for Flow Gaming is, what's his name? Hummingbird, who does play random, so we'll see how well Hummingbird does in his next match on Xel'Naga Caverns.